Welcome everybody to this top 10 best fall anime of 2018. This is the seasonal list. My name is Misty /Chronexia, and as you already know, Japan releases a handful of new titles every season. My job is to watch the first few episodes of everything that's available and give you a rundown of the worst and the best of it all, so you can choose whether or not these are worth your time. But this fall season, spoiler alert, kinda sucks. I'll still try to hype you through it regardless. If you're new to my method, this is a 2-in-1 format. First top 10 is exclusively new IP, and the second one is a lightning round format of the sequels. But we won't be getting to those before I tell you about the worst of the season. Let's go! And our first stop begins with the worst execution. Tate House. The first one I have to stop your attention on is this tragic mess. Not because of the CG, although it is quite terrible, but I would never put my criteria on that alone. The show suffers from being plainer than white bread. The characters are obnoxiously bland, with no direction, and the episodes are as uneventful as it gets. The plot follows two school students who move into a new house in Tokyo that already belongs to three sisters. There's also a cat and secret powers. Feel free to try and watch it, but if the CG doesn't take you out, the crappy story will. And the second worst anime of the season, the most trash one, is My Sister, My Writer. Every goddamn season there is one. My Sister, My Writer is a story about a girl who's good at everything, but she also writes a novel about a little sister who's in love with her older brother. Since the topic is kind of taboo, as it should, the girl's older brother takes on the endeavor as a proxy writer. Could be cute on paper, but the first episode happens and it's more of the same. If you saw Eromanga Sensei or Imo, it's like a bad reskin, not meant for anyone with actual siblings. Alright, this third worst is actually a controversial pick for me, Between the Sky and Sea. Here's one that had me pretty perplexed. Everyone gave it a terrible score, and I watched it expecting a train wreck, but I don't get it. It's pretty good. Visually, the anime is stunning. Story-wise, it's a little bit quirky, but again, nowhere near worth such a shitty score. The story is about a world where fishing in space giant monster is the new dream job. A girl from a small town decides to join the space fishermen because girls are in demand in space. The anime is a mix of sci-fi, fantasy, and while people seem to dislike it, I found it quite comical and interesting. It's a little bit different, but different doesn't make you bad. Now let's start the actual list with number 10, Uzamaid. I want your brain to soak in this one. By no means do I mean this anime is good. I just want you to realize how few actually decent anime there is out there. Uzamaid is a stupid comedy, borderline pedophiliac, and two little kids. The plot follows Misha, a Russian blonde girl living with her father since her mother died. One day, a former self-defense force officer enters her life as a reformed housekeeper, but she's a lolicon. They try to paint this anime as a harmless lesbian comedy, but the age gap and the forced encounters are simply in bad taste for me. Maybe you can brush it off and like it. I hope you do, cause for me, this is one I'd rather avoid. Number 9, Run with the Wind. Am I the only one that thinks the main character looks like Kageyama from Haikyuu? Run with the Wind is an anime that is originally based on a manga from 2007, and it is a sausage fest. The best kind. Kind of like how Prince of Tennis had only dudes in their cast. The story is about a former high school elite runner who meets with a university student who's also a fellow runner. Together with a bunch of novices, they plan to enter the Hakone Ekiden Marathon, which is one of the biggest races in Japan. The biggest one being Asian. The anime has been modernized slightly, but overall it's a sports anime which I know only appealed to a selected few, but I kinda like it so far. Number 8. Boarding School Juliet. I kinda like this one. It's not really high brain powered, but I think it's pretty sweet. The story is a modern take on the classic Romeo and Juliet. So Juliet and Romeo, the Japanese spelling of Romeo, needs to meet up in a secret location to consummate their love. Overall, it's a simple rom-com with a bit of action and drama. The anime has only been listed for 12 episodes, yet the manga has been going on for a few years and it's still on its way, which means two possible endings for the show. Either we get a custom filler ending, kinda like how Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches did, or more seasons will be made down the road. Try it out if you want something vanilla. This season, it's as close as it gets. Number 7. Bloom Into You. The proper lesbian anime of this season. Very similar to Citrus that came out earlier this year or any other shoujo ai drama. The story is about you, a girl who's really into love stories, so much that she wished she could experience it herself. But when a boy confesses to her, she remains oddly unaffected. That's until the school president, which is a chick, confesses her feelings to you and boom! Now she's suddenly getting butterflies. There's not really much to say about it, it's somewhat predictable, reminds me of Strawberry Panic, and well, since it's rated PG-13, I know we won't get to the scissoring part, so I'm a sidle away to the next entry. Number 6. Zombieland Saga. What a fucking roller coaster this anime is. Look, I'll be honest, the first 2 minutes of the anime were absolute gold. You should watch it merely for them. After that, I wanted to pull my hair out, which says a lot, because I'm already bald. The manager is one of the most obnoxious and infuriating character I've had to listen to. The show is constantly screaming, which I guess makes sense since it's tried to be an idol metal zombie anime. It has funny jokes, and the contrast is cool, I suppose, but this so did not work for me. I found this anime aggressive, but then again, I never had an affinity for metal music. If you do, maybe you'll like it. It's about a dude who recruits Zombie Girl to create a metal idol band. I absolutely hate it, and go ahead, leave a dislike, see if I give a shit. It makes me cringe, and I don't want to keep watching it. Number 5. Hirozuka Sekai no Ashita Kara. Here comes a really promising anime for this season. Hirozuka has a very cool premise. The story is about a world where only a tiny bit of magic is left. There's a girl whose grandma wants her to go back in time and meet her when she was her age, and that's as far as I'll say to not spoil anything else. It's a Back to the Future deal, drama, magic, romance. Visually, the show is extremely appealing, and I'm waiting for more episodes to find out if it's turning out the way I want it to. But regardless, I think the number 5 spot is a good midway point for this anime. Try it out if you enjoy time travel, or if the clip seems appealing. Number 4. Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Sampai. A lot of people would argue this is the best anime of the season, and if you didn't dislike my video for my opinion on Zombieland Saga, you will for this one. Here's the thing, I don't get why people like it. This anime is a mix of comedy, supernatural, and romance. There's definitely a big mystery going on about this anime, but the first episode is very slow paced, and since I have the attention span of a squirrel on cocaine, I kinda lost interest real fast. Dude, back off, I don't have to like every anime people claim is good. Story is about a girl who's somehow invisible to everyone except the main character despite her being a famous actress. I'm sure I'm just missing the point here, so I'll still recommend you to check it out because the execution is flawless. But it's not going anywhere for me either. Number 3, Hinomaruzumo. Now that's an anime I can sink my teeth in. Nomadism, I talked about it in my last top 10 about fighting. It's a show about sumo wrestling, a type of struggle famous in Japan, where a battle happens in a ring and you have to either pin your opponent down or toss him out of the ring. You follow a young sumo enthusiast, Hinomaru, who wants to become the greatest yokozuna around. A yokozuna is the higher rank a sumo wrestler can achieve. The characters are instantly likable, it's high-paced action, just the kind of stuff I'm into. I understand this is a very particular pick from my taste, and again, you can fuck off if you don't like it. But yeah, I have a sweet spot for sports anime, especially the shonen one. Pick it up if you think you'll like it as well, cause it's really good.
何かあった時に身元を照合するのにも使いますからなくさないように
Number 2, Goblin Slayer. This anime was heavily polarized when it came out. Some people hated it because it's quite rough, and other people enjoyed it quite a lot for its dark tone. Personally, I was in the latter camp when I saw the first episode, but then I watched the second episode and my hype kind of died out. They came out of the gate swinging, but by the time they get to episode 2, you barely have any steam left. Maybe you'll pick back up after, but as it stands, I'm kinda lukewarm about it. The story follows a young priestess adventurer who go on a quest to slay goblins, as the title implies. Things turn south when she realizes she got more than what she bargained for and end up getting rescued. I think it's an excellent anime, but I really want to see more to make my full opinion on the show, which may guarantee another review down the road at some point. We'll find out later. And finally, number 1, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. You know what? Yeah, this anime deserves the first spot. So far, it's nothing too convoluted, but it's endearing, and it's the show I look forward to watch the most each week. The time I got reincarnated as a slime is a story about an average, everyday guy who dies saving someone and is reborn in a new world as a slime, which can also shapeshift back into a human form for convenience. If you're looking for a fun, action, adventure, fantasy anime this season, this is the best recommendation I can offer you. And now is the time for the sequels. If you've already started watching this show, now is the time to dust them off again. But since you already know about these ones, we're gonna blaze through it pretty fast. Hold on tight, and let's go. Number 10, Good as Any Season 2, mediocre anime about baseball. I don't blame you if you don't know about it, nobody does. I just really needed an anime for the number 10 spot. Number 9, Ace Attorney Season 2, for those of you who couldn't afford the game on Nintendo DS 10 years ago, but still want to see two grown men scream at each other from across a room. Number 8, FLCL Alternative, prove that sometimes an anime is better off without a sequel to ruin it. Number 7, Tokyo Ghoul Re, second season, also known as the snowy anime because it was cool at first, but now it's too much shit to shovel and the main character just keeps getting wider and wider. Number 6, Inazuma 11 Orion no Kokuin, the only anime about a sport where you get more flack by using the wrong term than a triggered transgender would. It's football, not soccer! Number 5, Golden Kamuy, historical anime about a dude searching for gold. He only found it in memes. Number 4, Sword Art Online Alicization. Yeah, I'm not touching this one with a 10-foot pole. Number 3, Fairy Tail Final Series. Can't wait to see what friendship is gonna do in this heart. Is like my favorite character. Number 2, A Certain Magical Index 3. Accelerator is back, baby. Don't lie, he's the only reason why you like the show in the first place. And finally, number 1, JoJo Bizarre Adventure Part 5 Golden Wind. Producer was like, what if Dio was a JoJo this time? And everybody got their dick hard. So I get it, this season isn't the most exciting one, but if you're like me, and you usually wait until a season is done airing before you watch them all, there's still the summer lineup that just wrapped up and the spring one in case you missed it. Don't worry if you're still not sure what the best anime of the year was, we're gonna do the yearly wrap up in December as usual. In the meantime, thanks for sticking around, have a fun watch, catch up the previous seasonal list if you missed them, and I will see you guys next season.
The hard times, I've been on the wrong side, I've been ashamed. So many memories, you know I'd like to change.